Hi, I'm the Gadget Guru, Andy Parr, and you're watching thevog.net. I'm here in sunny South Florida, where it is a very hot April day. We're in the Palm Beach Gardens area, and I just ran into DL1000, who came all the way down from Canada. He was in the Central Florida area, but he was kind enough to take a ride down for us to do a VOG member spotlight. Are you ready to have the camera turned on you?
Absolutely. You know I love the camera.
Okay. You know, you have a reputation online. I think that One Thumb started this, that no matter when somebody takes a picture, you happen to pop in. Is that true?
Well, the way I think that he put it is that I jump into the camera. I think that's what they said. Now, I think that's quite frankly a lie. But, you know, he has fun with it. If I had to say anything to One Thumb, I'd say, I hope it's not snowing up there right now. I got to tell you, it is so hot down here, it's actually hard to ride.
Well, I got to, when you're, right now, I guess the highs are going to be near 90. You didn't have that temperature coming down from Central Florida. What was it like when you were moving? Did it feel okay? It's because the humidity really hasn't kicked in yet.
Yeah, the ride down from Orlando was just fine. I mean, the road's good. I mean, it's just the toll road there. You know, $10 driving as fast as you want to. You know, as fast as the cops will let you because they're all over the place. But no, it was a lovely ride. You know, as long as you got the wind.
Okay, now tell us how you got the bike down here from Canada, because I know it was pretty cold when you left up there.
Yeah, what we did this time is I got a trailer, and so I threw it on the back of the trailer, and we came down and, you know, unloaded it once we got down here. Had a bit of an issue with the trailer, but a welder up there in Orlando's taking care of that. It's just not used to carrying anything quite this heavy on it, so it was a first-time run with that.
Okay, so you brought it down, you brought your bike down to Orlando, then you've just been sightseeing around the area?
Oh, yeah. Basically, my wife's down here and another couple, and one of our sons and his wife and baby, so grandson. So, yeah, that's basically what we've been doing, hanging out. Fiona's been doing an awful lot of shopping. I know that's going to be coming as a real shock for you guys. I mean, it is just poetry in motion. And I've been hanging out and trying to maintain a proper level of fluid in the body, if you catch my drift.
You know, you need it down here. Now, you mentioned trailering, and just recently on the VOG, some people were talking about trailering, saying, you know, you're not a real rider if you trailer. What's your thought on that?
Well, I would agree, except that when you're leaving Ontario at this time of year and you're going down through the mountains of Pennsylvania, you want to ride the bike, that's fine. I'm fully set up for cold weather riding. I've got hook in for, you know, the heated clothing and everything like that. But, you know, between salt, slush, and ice, chrome doesn't like it, aluminum doesn't like it, so I'd rather just trailer.
How many miles do you typically ride a year?
About 15,000 kilometers, so multiply that by about 0.6, so call it 10,000 miles a year.
You ever notice how Canadians are much better at math than Americans are? Now, you said your mileage, you know, and I want to point this out. You know, when you see somebody pulling a bike on a trailer, you might not know what the real story is. You know, some people might say, you're not a rider. You know, it's a very efficient way of getting from point A to point B, especially if you bring in family or kids or whatever. Yeah. Then you get out, and it's great. You have the best of both worlds. Would you agree with that?
Well, actually, I'm a hardcore kind of a guy. It kind of breaks my heart to pull the bike on the trailer, although my kids tell me that I could pull the trailer with this particular motorcycle. Now, I can pull a trailer behind this bike. We do that on longer trips. But no, my preference is to ride at all costs whenever possible.
Okay, which trailer do you use on the Vision?
It's actually made in Quebec. It's a Fibro Concept. It comes from Rouen-Noranda. Had a color matched. In fact, V-Bear has one that's very, very similar.
Okay. Now, is that a single wheel, double wheel?
It's a double wheel. It's a double wheel, yeah.
And how much extra space does that give you?
I think it's about 15 cubic feet or something like that.
How does hauling a trailer change the handling characteristics of the Vision?
You don't notice it, quite frankly. I mean, this engine is big enough, and I've had that thing fully loaded and, you know, two up. You know, Fiona rides herself, but on some trips she sits on the back there. You know, you're conscious of the increased length. You're conscious of the increased weight, especially when you're braking. The only time I've felt a little bit of pull on the rear end is when I've gone in hard and fast into a corner. Then you can sort of feel the rear end wanting to move a little bit. But basically, if you adjust your driving and you're not an idiot, on this particular bike, you don't notice a trailer at all.
Does wind adversely affect the trailer?
Not that I've noticed. And I've been pulling that through Vermont, New Hampshire, through the White Mountains and so on, where you can get some pretty stiff breezes. In fact, at times the bike feels a little bit more planted. There's a famous bridge in Thousand Islands area. It goes across from Ogdensburg into Prescott. And it's one of those metal grate bridges that everybody hates and everybody freaks out over. And it's over the Thousand Islands, so it goes way, way up high. And what I've noticed with that is that the bike, typically on that kind of a grading, you get a little squirrely there. But pulling the trailer, it actually feels a lot more planted.
Okay, so your screen name, DL1000. I assume you're an old Suzuki guy?
I am indeed, yeah. I had Suzukis, I've had Yamahas, I had Kawis. The bike that I traded in for this one was the V-Strom DL1000. And I kept that name just because I was on the VMC and the VOG sites before I had decided what I was going to be doing. And, it's just my shorthand. On other sites before I bought my DL1000, that was a GT500, if you remember Suzuki two-stroke twins. So.
Well, what made you jump? I mean, that's quite a leap to take the jump to the Vision.
Yeah. I was looking for a long-distance touring machine. And I had ridden Harleys, and well, you'll notice I didn't buy a Harley. I'll leave it at that. I took a look at the BMWs, and I took a look at the Goldwings, and I'm sorry, but the price of the BMW and the price of the Goldwing just blew me away. I mean, I'm sure they're wonderful bikes. In fact, I know that they are, but I couldn't spend that kind of money. Goldwing was going to cost more than my fully loaded V6 Honda Accord car. And no, couldn't justify that.
Okay, so this is an '09. Did you buy it new?
Yes, I did. It was brand new.
Okay, so what's your review? You've now had it with 3 years, or almost 3 years, and what's your review now after many, many kilometers?
I'm never going to sell this bike. Next thing that I'm going to be doing on it, I think, is probably swapping out the suspension, because I've been reading about the traction suspension. That sounds pretty good. I'm probably going to bite the bullet and get some engine work done, just to keep up with the bad guys, like my buddies up in the north there. And so that's what I foresee.
Have you done any mods to this bike, or have you kept it pretty much stock?
It's pretty much stock. I mean, I've installed the trailer hitch and things like that. There's a little bit of chrome on it, but the only other mod that I've done on it is my own sort of kind of a setup that I had for a GPS. I couldn't really see spending thousands of dollars on a GPS system for this, and so what I did is put a ram ball mount up there and ran a wire up to it, and Bob's your uncle.
Okay, so you're down here in South Florida now. What are the rest of your trip plans before you head back up to the Great White North?
Yeah, nothing really. I mean, tomorrow and the next day we probably just might head over and visit one of the theme parks, But at this point we're just sort of winding down, relaxing a little bit, and it'll be all good.
Well, after riding the Vision, I don't know what ride you can find at Universal Orlando that's going to be as much fun as this.
Yeah, especially to see me ride.
Well, Richard, I want to thank you very much. I mean, it's great for you to come down. We're getting ready to head in and have some lunch. But, Richard, it's a pleasure. Whenever we get VOG members heading down this area, I love to meet them, especially our Canadian members, because this way we can kind of pull the chain of one thumb.
Yeah. And Alan, I miss you terribly, and I hope that I see you this summer again. I won't be making it to Friday the 13th, I'm afraid, but not the next one. Maybe the one coming up. We'll see what happens.
Well, DL1000, it's a pleasure. I want to thank you very much for your time. For the VOG.net, I'm the Gadget Guru, Andy Parr, and I'll see you on the road and online.